Hello guys, it's me Kavou. Today I am going to include my full list of mods that I use to completely remaster the combat in Skyrim.
Oh shit, here we go again.
In a way where it doesn't differ too far from the original game. We are going to cleverly use the vanilla elements. Feel free to throw a like or subscribe, it helps the channel and it motivates me to make more of those videos and put more effort. It also helps me find my audience. Thank you, and with that out of the way, let's begin. First, we are going to use the most important mod in this video, and this is no other than Blade and Blunt. It cleverly recycles the vanilla assets to create brand new ideas that the Skyrim combat was missing since the day it came out, integrating those into the game in a way that when you have this mod on, it doesn't feel like you are playing a different game, it feels like you are playing a better version of Skyrim. You might ask, Kavou, what this mod adds? First of all, Blade and Blunt is a block overhaul that is going to change how blocking works. That means if you are running any other type of block overhaul, you should never use it with Blade and Blunt. Blocking now will work like this. When you are using your shield, by default you will have 40% extra block ratio, and without a shield that is going to be 20%. Every time you are going to block, your stamina will stop from regenerate. All of those changes I am going to talk about that Blade and Blunt adds, not only they perfectly work for the enemies, but they also work for you. Blocking is gonna feel much more safer with this mod, while the combat will be way more advanced. One way or the other, there is a very big difference how blocking works. Second thing this mod adds, stamina fatigue to any actions. That's right, swinging with a weapon, casting spells, using a bow, running, blocking, all of those things will cost you stamina. When your stamina goes to 0, a bunch of things can happen. First of all, if you're playing the very infamous build, which is the Stealth Archer, every time your stamina will hit 0, because now every time you draw a bow or every time you shoot an arrow, you're going to lose stamina. When you reach 0, your next swing or your next arrow will deal half damage, which means the whole stealth gameplay is extremely nerfed, so you cannot run around without a brain, swinging and shooting arrows without having any consequences. Every time an enemy or you will be fighting in close combat and any of you will reach 0 stamina, with Blade and Blunt, actions of opportunity will happen. That means if either the enemy or your stamina reach 0, you will get stunned. But don't worry, because the stun has a time window of 5 seconds. That means you will not be chain stunned, and the same goes for your enemies. So you have to pick your strategy. Blade and Blunt enhances the strategy and rewards players with higher skill rather than just forcing game element. Also, every time you parry someone, if the parry was close to perfect, or when your enemies get to 0 stamina, you will have, as I said, windows of opportunity, which will deal additional damage and will have extra effects, which adds a very dynamic element into the combat. The attack speed of all of the weapons has been reworked. That means almost every weapon is much more slower, so it makes the combat, in my opinion, feel kinda similar to Dark Souls 1, where everything feels slow, but you feel the impact of every blow, either you deal or you're being dealt with. The armor rating has been fixed. I think the vanilla game 600 with 500 armor was close to 80% damage reduction. With Blade and Blunt, 1000 armor, twice the value, it is going to give you around 80 with 90% damage reduction. That means it's extremely hard to choose the combat by stacking armor. Armor will feel way more protective, but at the same time not in a way where it breaks the game. There are so many changes on the armor ratio and settings of the game that, again, because this mod is using vanilla elements only, is why I love this mod so much. Blade and Blunt, get ready, it adds injury system. Before Blade and Blunt, I was using wildcard just for the injuries, but not anymore, because Blatant Blunt adds a way more diverse option of injuries that anytime you are going to fight, enemies will perform injuries to you. Those injuries will be worse the more time you wait, which means if you get a broken limb or a bleeding and you won't do anything for a day or so, it will get way worse to the point of making you very much useless. The reason why the modder does this is because he wants to give you incentives after every fight you have. Let's say you clear a dungeon and you come back with a lot of injuries, you will have a window of 24 hours to visit any inn, any healer, and essentially get supplies on any nearby town to fix yourself, which gives so much more purpose to the NPCs in Skyrim, the travelers, the merchants, and all of that kind of crap. Most of those injuries will not be addressed by magic unless you have the remove disease potion or spell. Many of you guys are speaking about Morrowind and how good it was when it comes to balance. Blatant Blunt balances the magic in Skyrim. That's right. Every enemy now with this will have different type of magic resistances, so you will have to learn, strategize, and play around that. Before Blatant Blunt, the only enemies in Skyrim I had to play around their resistances was the Dwemer. With this mod, what you get from the Dwemer in Skyrim, every enemy gets overhaul, so you have to play around that idea. It gives me Morrowind vibes, but if Morrowind was better, which is Skyrim now, with this, you can no longer become immune to any type of spell, because the maximum amount of resistance you can get, you or the enemy, with Blatant Blunt, goes all the way up to 80%. Before on Vanilla, you could become 100% immune to any school of magic, so this doesn't work anymore. Magic will always feel important to use or play around. That being said, that's pretty much what Blatant Blunt covers. Essentially, you are getting a block overhaul, an armor balance overhaul, a weapon balance overhaul, a magic balance overhaul, an injury system, a stamina overhaul. You are getting all of those things with one mod that is using the vanilla unused elements. It is the best combat overhaul on the market, and if you are going to use Blatant Blunt, do not mix it with any other combat overhaul. That being out of the way, let's move to the second big mod of this episode. We have Precision. Most of you know what Precision is. Precision, in my opinion, is the best mod to come out in the past years. Precision is going to transform the boring combat or weapon swinging in Skyrim to make it feel much more modern, to something you see in a Souls-like game. All of the hitboxes, both of you and your enemies, have been reworked, and where your weapon faces or collides with, this is exactly the spot you are going to land a hit. This is extremely dynamic because while having Blatant Blunt and having the impactful slow strikes, anytime you miss by a millisecond of a distance, or the enemies do that, it adds so much more realism. In addition, we are getting a boss system. For those who don't know what a boss system is, anytime you hit an enemy, they will have a sort of flinch effect. They will dynamically bend over or move their body backwards anytime you land a hit. Heavier weapons will have a bigger impact, smaller weapons will have a smaller impact. This makes again combat feel so much more alive, and you feel every swing you do. The same goes with your enemies, of course, making the combat, based on my calculations, 252% more responsive. If you get from where this reference is, type it down below in the comment section. Precision adds weapon swing effects or weapon trails, however you want to call it. Before that, I had to use ultimate combat, but now Precision has that, and it makes the swings feel as smooth as possible. Killing 𝘿𝙞𝙨𝙘𝙡𝙧 never felt better, guys. So this is the two bases of my mod list. It's Blatant Blunt combined with Precision. We want to mix this with True Hewt and True Directional Movement. True Hewt is going to add a lot of information regarding health bars, magicka bars, and all of those type of things of enemies, making the combat feel informative without overwhelming the player with information. And True Directional Movement, it adds directional movement that makes the movement feel so much more cleaner, better, faster.
Take a look. His speed, his ferocity, his training.
true directional movement will come like the cherry on top and will merge everything in a beautiful cake. You're going to get Archery Locational damage, which is going to add locational damage. If you are going to hit someone on his knee, something that the Nord guards like to constantly brag about for some reason.
It feels like every guard here has been shot in the knee at least once. They won't stop talking about it.
It will deal less damage if you hit them at their hip, or the shoulder, or the head. This mod completely changes how arrows work. Even if you try to go for the, again, very famous stealth build, you won't be able to 1KO most of the people unless you hit them on the head, which is going to be very hard, unless you are literally Legolas. Archery locational damage is the best. I'm telling you, the best archery overhaul on the Nexus. I don't know why not many people don't know about this mod. Then you're going to get magic sneak attacks, which adds sneak attacks that work with magic. Sounds as basic as a super mutant, doesn't it? It makes perfect sense in my opinion. If the archery stealth build can be a thing and can be OP, why not using spells? Lastly, you're going to get SMC Skyrim motion control. Skyrim motion control, it's compatible and works with true directional movement. It adds momentum when it comes to running and slowing down. It's going to make the movement very responsive. With Skyrim motion control and true directional movement, it will feel like you're playing the perfect Skyrim Remaster. It's a fantastic mod, and you're going to get better jumping that is going to add momentum when it comes to jumping based on the Skyrim motion control and the true directional movement, depending on the speed you run, for how long you run, and if you are sprinting or not. You're going to get different type of results when it comes to jumping. Better jumping is the best jump overhaul, and I think most of those mods, guys, work for any version of Skyrim. I'm not sure if those work for Xbox or PlayStation, but if you are in any of those consoles, let me know if those works down in the comment section. Let's talk about stealth in Skyrim. What if I told you there is one mod that includes almost everything and it has the best up-to-date sneaking animations? This is relaxed sneak animations, and in my humble opinion, it gives you the best results if you want to remaster the vanilla stealth animations. This will give you diverse animations that will play when it comes to stealth. Since I found out about this mod, I cannot play Skyrim without using this. So relaxed sneak animations, give an endorsement to the mod author and to all of the mods I am going to showcase because they deserve. If you want to remaster again the sneak and stealth animations in Skyrim, this is the mod you've been looking for. Then we have one of my most favorite mod series. It's called Vokriinator. Vokriinator, it is going to mix a bunch of mods and it will completely transform the leveling system, aka the perks you get in the game, the magic spells. What you need to do here, make sure you have the requirements, scroll down and read the installation part. It might look overwhelming, but the mod author gives perfect instructions. For instance, first thing, install Mysticism. Second, install Spirit. Third, install Adamant. And once you get all of those 9 mods installed, you are going to have the best result when it comes to combat and balancing magic and leveling. On top of that, you want to get the mod called Experience that is going to completely change how leveling works in Skyrim. Every time I played Skyrim and I set the difficulty to master, when I finish a dungeon, I get 10 with 15 levels. It makes it where by finishing 3 or 4 dungeons, you get to the mid game, and I don't like how the curve of vanilla Skyrim goes. This completely fixes that by giving you experience anytime you explore a new zone, finish a quest, kill a creature, and the list goes on. It is so much more better than the original game, and you want to also go and put experience MCM. That way leveling, it will never feel the same, and all of those mods, including experience, they have their own MCM configuration, which means you can fix anything you want. Then we have block enhancements, which it will make it where blocking with shields, it is going to stop or block the magic effects of weapons. Balancing how magic weapons weapons work for both yourself and your enemies. It's a very small mod that I think adds so many things when it comes to Skyrim, and many people are sleeping on this one. And lastly, for the combat type of mods, we are getting action-based projectiles. This will make it where both arrows and magic spells will travel way slower. You will be able to actually avoid those or dodge them. We are not using a dodge type of mod because, again, my idea of remastered vanilla game is to have the gameplay exactly like vanilla but more enhanced. This way you can actually dodge and avoid spells, and so can your enemies, so magic will not feel as OP as it does in the vanilla game, both from yourself and your enemies. And with this one we are completely balancing magic combined with everything else. Let's move to our animation type of mods. I'm gonna walk very fast with those. You're going to get improved camera that is going to add first person camera in your game. It's the best camera overhaul when it comes to Skyrim. Then you're going to put comprehensive first person animation overhaul that is going to completely overhaul and remaster the first person animations by adding so much more depth and life. You're going to grab 𝘿𝙤𝙨𝙘𝙡𝙖𝙀 Animations to Hunters that is going to add similar animations to the vanilla game but by adjusting them slightly. So that way, while using our main combat modes, your 200 weapon animations, that being 200 axes, blades and swords, which with this mod all of those will have their different unique animations that they give you the same vibe that the vanilla Skyrim does. It's a highly underappreciated mod and I wish more people will endorse this one. Then you're going to grab Greatsword Block and Bash hit animations, which will make it where every time you block or bash with your 200 swords, the sword will be strategically located in a better position than the original game. It's a great mod and it adds up to the vanilla remaster experience. For movement animations, I am using the Pristine vanilla movement that is going to add movement for any sort of action you take. Walking, running, sprinting, those animations feel like a remastered version of Skyrim. They are vanilla friendly, they are not over sexualized, and they feel like an enhanced version of what we've got from the base game. It is the best vanilla movement mod I could find out, and it covers pretty much all sorts of movements with just one mod. I am using random first person magic animations, which is going to play randomized first person magic animations anytime you cast magic. I am using the archery animations and sneak archery from the Vanagrand mod page. Those are the only two mods I'm using because everything else is being added by everything we have installed from the same mod author. I am using the 𝘿𝙤𝙨 animations for magic casting, movement for staffs, conditional shouts and sneak magic. Install those four only. Lastly, closing in, I am going to add a bunch of extras. We have the simple block sparks NG, which is going to give sparks anytime you block, giving much more depth and immersion to the combat of Skyrim. You're going to grab disable turn animation that is going to fix a glitch that is happening when you turn your camera. You're going to install the third person camera Stagger Remover that is going to remove the very annoying stagger you get from the vanilla game. And lastly, you want to grab weapon speed fix, which in my opinion is the best mod that is going to fix any weapon speed issues you have for any reason. Have in mind, if you are using survival mode from the creation club, you should install also survival mode attack speed fix. That pretty much covers the today's episode. I'm sorry if the episode was a little bit longer than usual, guys, but I wanted to completely remake my combat overhaul because many of you guys have been asking me to make an updated version, and usually when it comes to using MCO, which is what I've done on my previous one, it is going to generate a lot of bugs and issues, and it will make the Skyrim combat feel like you're playing a different game. My focus for this video, again, give Skyrim Skyrim a remastered version of how its combat should feel, that including the movement, the leveling, magic and pretty much everything. With that out of the way, that was the video for this week, and I would like to thank you. If you stayed all the way at the end, feel free to throw a like, sub to the channel, turn the notifications on for any future videos I am going to make. My name is Kavou and I love modding Skyrim and Fallout New Vegas. If you want to stay for more, you know what to do. I will see you until next time. Happy modding, everyone.